Good time of day, guys. My name is Godzi, and welcome back to another episode of Higurashi When They Cry, Ch.8 Matsuribayashi. Last episode, we completed more fragments after kind of getting stuck with trying to figure out where am I supposed to go from here, because apparently requesting assistance from a queen was one that I could do, even though I did not remember getting any of the prerequisites for it, but whatever, I won't question it at this point, so yeah. Anyways, before we get into this episode, I want to talk about Sotsu a little bit to further explain something I talked about last episode. So we're going to be going into spoiler time for that. It shouldn't take terribly long. I just kind of have to amend some things and better explain what I mean, because I've had a few days to sit on what I was talking about, and I think I have a more reasonable explanation for why I think the way I do with this. So yeah, we're going to spoiler time. When I pull down the save and load menu, I will be done with spoiler time as usual. Yeah, so spoilers technically through episode 9 of Sotsu, but yeah, here we go. Okay, so I got a comment last episode challenging my interpretation of Satoko and how I said that I believe she is more evil and worse than Takano. I feel like I kind of need to change some of the wording I used in order to explain exactly what I mean by that, though. Because, like, I thought about it more, and now I would more so say she's not necessarily more evil than Takano, and she's not necessarily worse than Takano, because I don't really think there's a point to differentiating which of them is more or less evil than the other. They both did horrible things, and Satoko is continuing to do horrible things. Takano's kind of realized that, oh, maybe killing an entire village isn't a good idea. Maybe I just shouldn't do that. So, yeah. Instead, what I'll say, I'll use different wording to more accurately explain what I mean. I think Satoko is more morally apprehensible. I think she's more evil, yes, but because of what not because of what she specifically does in each world, but with how it fits into the bigger picture. So I like to think of it this way. Sure, Takano does kill the entire village. She kills every fucking person in the village after 4 years of her doing shady shit beforehand. Although I don't believe she didn't really do much the first 2 years. Like, there was the dissection of the dude in the first year and her suggesting to dissect Satoko in the second year. But I'm pretty sure she's, like, directly responsible for what happens to third and fourth years. And then, of course, the fifth year, killing everyone in the village. As for Satoko, she takes vials of Hinamizawa Syndrome, injects a person who kills a few people, eventually dies, Rika dies somewhere along the way, and then Satoko kills herself and moves on to the next one. So in terms of the scale, yes, Takano is worse, and yes, I would also argue that she is more cruel than Satoko. She has a lot less restraint with what she's doing. However, I would then also say Satoko doesn't have much restraint either. Takano has less, because she's willing to kill really anybody and everybody to get her plan to succeed. Satoko has at least some rules that she has to abide by, because, like, if she dies before Rika dies, her whole plan's for fucking naught. She's gonna be put in a fragment where Rika was never born. So, yeah, that would kinda suck. So yeah. However, I personally think in the grand scheme of things, Satoko is worse. And my reasoning for that is, of course, that Satoko is a looper, Takano is not. Satoko is... obviously both don't really have a sense of, like, respect for human life at this point, I would say. I think that, at least that's not very controversial. But Takano and Satoko think that for different reasons. Takano doesn't have respect for human life because she just doesn't. Like, she's just simple about it. She's just like, people die, whatever. I'm gonna kill this whole village. What's it matter? Meanwhile, Satoko's like, it doesn't matter what I do to fucking anybody, because I can just reset it. I can just start again. Fucking Omni-Man bullshit or whatever. What's 2 more weeks? I can always start again. Fuck up another timeline. But, better yet, the reason why I say Satoko is more morally apprehensible than Takano is because of the way they interact with the worlds that they fuck up. Because Takano destroys worlds. At the end of what she does, everyone is dead. Everyone in the village is dead. No one's alive to remember the trauma of their loved ones dying around them. The worlds that Satoko manipulates and leaves, though, yes, she does. I'm going to try to better explain what I mean by creating a hypothetical. So, let's say you have a household with 4 people. A father, a mother, and 2 kids. It doesn't matter. So, in situation A, Takano goes into this household while all 4 of them are home with a gun and kills all of them. That's situation A. Situation B, while the father isn't home, Satoko injects him with Hinamizawa Syndrome. He goes home, beats his children to death while his wife watches. She escapes, the man gets arrested, and now the wife is still alive, but with memory of her husband beating her children to death engraved in her skull. That is why I think Satoko is worse. Because, like, yeah, Takano kills all 4 of them in that scenario, while Satoko indirectly only kills 2 of them. But I would argue that traumatizing people is kind of worse than killing them. I'm not excusing murder. I am not. Because even Satoko killing Mion and Wata Akashi is bad. Yeah. But I would argue more so that she affected people worse than Takano did. So, let's take some similar worlds. I feel like my best example, so I'm cherry picking for a second here, bear with me, would be Tatari Garoshi versus Tatari Damashi. So in Tatari Garoshi, Keiichi gets Hinamizawa Syndrome, beats Teppei to death, Tomitake dies because of Takano. Takano later kills Rika. Satoko and Keiichi find her body. Satoko thinks that Keiichi killed Rika. And then Keiichi falls off the bridge. Everyone in Hinamizawa, except for him, gets gassed. He moves on, and he gets captured. I'm pretty sure he dies, too. And so that's the end. Tatari Garoshi's fucking over. Everyone in the village is dead. Tatari Damashi, though, is a bit worse. So, Tatari Damashi more so follows Mina Garoshi, obviously, but it's still a semi-similar world. Satoko lies to everybody by making it seem like that she was getting abused by Teppei at home, when in actuality she was manipulating them into thinking that. She injects Oishi with Hinamizawa Syndrome, who later then massacres Mion, Shion, Rika, and presumably Satoko in front of Rena. Rena witnesses all of this, and she survives the encounter. Keiichi goes to the hospital after whatever the fuck happened in Satoko's house. Keiichi and Rena survive Tatari Damashi, but Rena has memory of all of her friends dying before her eyes except for Keiichi, so she's got PTSD from that, and Keiichi doesn't know what the fuck actually happened. So, I would argue the outcome of Tatari Damashi is worse because the people who are alive are traumatized. So this is subjective, of course, and I would not blame someone for saying that Takano is more evil than Satoko, but I just personally think what Satoko does is worse. However, I did also say last episode that I hope Satoko does not get redeemed. I've kind of amended my opinion on that. I think she will. I don't think she should yet. Reason being, Takano is not exactly very connected to the main group. So, Takano gets redeemed because no one really has any memory of exactly what she did except for Rika. And even then, we haven't really seen... Well, Satoko also. But even then, we haven't really seen their thoughts on Takano since Go began. Like, at all. There was that one conversation in Nekodamashi where Takano apologized to Rika by saying, oh, I was going to kill you. I was going to do all these horrible things, and I'm so sorry. Unless I'm mistaken, Rika said fucking nothing. Like, that whole conversation. And reacted to almost nothing. She just looked shocked the whole time. Yeah, Satoko, I don't think really said much either in, I think it was the last episode of Satoko Washi. She didn't really say much about Takano. So, that's why Takano was able to be redeemed. She hadn't yet done something that she couldn't turn back from. Not to mention, she does not have a well, I guess as of Go and Sotsu, yes. But prior to that, she wouldn't have to live with what she did. So, like, in Matsuribayashi, I know she's not gonna kill fucking anybody. At the end, her and Tomitake are gonna hug it out, and she's going to be A-okay. She gives up on her plan and doesn't fucking do it. And so, since she never crossed the line, so to speak, she doesn't have to live with the consequences of what she's done, because she didn't do anything. Aside from what happened in years 3 and 4, which is obviously marginal compared to what she was going to do in year 5. As for, let's also throw Teppei and Rina in here, because they were also brought up in the whole redemption thing. Teppei does, in Go and Sotsu, have memories of what he did in previous arcs, but he, again, has not yet done anything terrible. He doesn't have to live with the consequences of his actions, so he's able to turn around before committing an atrocity. Same with Rina, except Rina doesn't seem to have memories of the previous arcs. She just decides not to scam Rena's father for money and later try to kill Rena. She actually just turns over a new leaf. She hasn't done fucking shit. Yet she redeems herself just through her own willpower. Satoko, though, as a looper, did do all that shit. Like, she's always gonna have memory of that. It doesn't matter how many times she dies or resets, she's always gonna have memories of the world where she injected Rena and made everything go to shit, where she injected Mion and made everything go to shit, where she injected Oishi and made everything go to shit. And of course, since she dies at the end of all of these worlds, she does not know what happens afterwards, so she doesn't know that at the end of Onidamashi, Keiichi maybe dies, I don't know, and Mion has to live with the fact that all of her friends are dead. Watadamashi, she doesn't know that Rena and Keiichi have to live with the fact that all of their friends are dead. Same with Tatari Damashi. She doesn't know this. But she still does this. So that's why I think it's going to be really hard for the show to give me a reason to think Satoko is redeemable. She isn't yet. I think that's probably fair to say. If they attempted to redeem Satoko next episode, I would be like, no, this is way too fucking soon. You literally cannot do this. Because, well, first off, it wouldn't make narrative sense, it'd be a plot hole. And second off, she has not come to terms with her actions. So I think, yeah, she's gonna get redeemed at some point. But I just really hope it's difficult for her to get redeemed. Because it really seems way harder by making her a looping antagonist. It's gonna be really hard to redeem her compared to Takano, who does not loop. She just persists in every timeline and tries to kill the whole village. She always has that buffer zone where you can redeem her. Satoko does not because it's linear. Everything she's done is everything she's done. It's happened. It doesn't matter about the linear time in the world that she's in or the fragment that she's in. Of course, though, knowing the cast of this game, they will forgive her, but I kinda hope they think about it first. However, you know, seeing Sumihara Boshi, where Keiichi remembers that he killed Rena and Mion, and he profusely apologizes to Mion on the spot. She's just like, you didn't kill me, so you have nothing to apologize for. However, Sumi Horoboshi, unless I'm mistaken, was the first arc in which characters other than Rika started to remember previous arcs. So, however many worlds Satoko's going to manipulate and discard behind her, where she leaves some of her friends with horrible trauma, they're going to remember some of that in later worlds, to the point where I think it's going to be really fucking hard for them to forgive her. Will they? Probably. But it's going to be difficult, and that's all I'm really saying. So, to sum up my general thoughts on Satoko versus Takano, it's not really worth weighing the tragedies of what they do. I just personally think that what Satoko does is more morally apprehensible, and it's going to be really, really hard for her to get redeemed. Really hard, and I hope they don't just cut corners and just be like, oh, well, we're nice. You're our friend, Satoko. How could we stay mad at you? No, I don't want them to do that. Of course, yes, other characters do kill each other in these different arcs. Like, Shion kills, like, Satoko and Rika and Oreo and Mion and Kimiyoshi. But these later world lines, Rika forgives Shion. Rika forgives everyone who killed anyone, or even her, because she's just like, well, that was Hinamizawa Syndrome. Satoko, unless there's gonna be a major twist where she has Hinamizawa Syndrome that's persisted throughout the loops, isn't gonna get that. Because, you know, she's turning into a witch. So, yeah, I just think it's gonna be really, really fucking hard for her to get redeemed. So, that was a fucking longer discussion than I wanted it to be. I just kind of wanted to quickly explain myself, but we're already 17 minutes into the episode. So, yeah. Welcome back, guys. It is time to read more fragments. That took way too long, I realize, but oh well. So we can definitely do this, a routine inspection. 19A routine inspection. I'll just write inspection as I read. The lights came on in the meeting room as the slideshow ended. The paper's getting stuck to my hand because it's fucking hot in here. And all the auditors began to applaud, praising the Irie institution's dramatic accomplishments. Wonderful! Absolutely wonderful! To be honest with you, I wasn't expecting too much from this Hinamizawa Syndrome research. I figured that even if there was progress, it'd be 3 steps forward and 2 steps back every decade. Oh my! How impressive it is to achieve so much in such a short period of time! This is all thanks to you, Director Irie! Oh, no. This is all because of the staff that supported me, and Takano-san too. Something else I want to discuss real quick, which doesn't have to do with Sotsu. In the same comment that I mentioned, the commenter also said that they just don't like the console sprites, and I can definitely see where they're coming from. I'll admit that much. Like, there's something about this sprite set that just doesn't feel lively. Like, some of the characters I like these sprites for, like Mion, Rena, kind of. Who else? Like, Tomatake looks fine, I guess, but he doesn't really have that many expressions to begin with. I don't know, Rika, sort of. But then some characters just look really cheap, you know? Like, Irie is just kinda, hello, I am facing the camera and making faces. My emotions never really seem to match the mood, either. Or, like, Keiichi just looks weirdly drawn. Some of Oishi's sprites are fucking weird. Hanyu feels like she just has the same expressions as, like, take some of Rena's expressions and take some of, Rika's expressions and take some of Shion's expressions. There's your Hanyu sprite set. And then there was another character. Okanogi looks like a fucking rat. And, who was the other one? There was one other. I'm thinking through characters. Why can't I remember who it was? Oh my god. Kasai looks fucking awful, also. He looks terrible. Oreo's is good, but yeah. Who was the fucking character I was trying to think of? A character that just looks fucking awful in the sprite set that I've never really mentioned. Satoshi looks fine. Satoko's eh. Akasaka. Yeah, Akasaka looks fucking weird in this. Like, his hairstyle looks like a fucking Yu-Gi-Oh character. I don't know. Like, I haven't really experienced much of the Manga Gamer sprites or the original ones, but from what I've seen of them, the Manga Gamer ones look eh, and the original ones have a fuck ton of character to them because, well, they just do. Same with the Umineko original ones. But yeah, the console sprites for Higurashi, just, yeah, they're pretty fucking lifeless. The Umineko ones I really liked. Like, the PS3 Umineko sprites are really good. But yeah, I agree that the sprites for this game are either really fucking bad or just eh. Like, Mion is the only character that I particularly think has a pretty good sprite set. For the most part, I don't know. There's some sprites of hers that are fucking weird, but yeah, I also think the art style just, I don't know, it doesn't feel Higurashi-y to me. That's why I really like Go's art style, Go and Sotsu. I feel like it fits Higurashi a lot, because, like, it's super colorful, so it fits with the comedic aspects of the show, but then it also contrasts so fucking well with, like, the horrific, bloody parts of the show. With the more gritty, serious stuff. Like, it just fucking works. Like, it's able to be disturbing, and it's able to be cutesy fun, which is why I think Go is probably, like, the best art style for Higurashi that I've seen. The original show was a bit too dull. Like, Kai is too sharp, I guess. Like, the character designs in Kai are way too sharp. Like, it doesn't feel like Higurashi, you know? Like, it's well drawn, but I don't know. There's just something about every art style other than the original sprites and the art style used in Go and Sotsu that just doesn't perfectly fit Higurashi, I feel. But, yeah. Alright, let's continue reading. I think I already read this line, so yeah. Don't be so humble. Director Irie is a genius in the field of neurology. After all, he's also produced greater achievements than any other doctor when it comes to the brain. I will say, though, from the Manga Gamer sprites that I have seen, I do not like Rika's, and I do not like, Rena's. I don't know why, I just don't. Keiichi's is on the fence, too, I don't know. But yeah, like, the original sprites work for fucking everyone, so, yeah. That's true! Not many doctors as young as you have nearly as much experience operating on brains. I don't think I've ever seen I'm kind of stuck on this now. I don't think I've seen, Irie sprites. He turned to the right. It definitely feels sharper. That's for sure. I don't know. Wrong thing. There. We're just gonna stick with these, because that's what I've been using, so yeah. I think I read that line. Hello, military Tomatake. Congratulations, Lieutenant Colonel Irie. Oh yeah, Tomatake was another one that I didn't fucking like. He looks fine in this outfit, but like his usual one, he just looks weird. I don't know. Oh, but yeah, now that I switch back to it, yeah, it's... now I kind of see how uncanny this art style can really be. Also, just him without his hat is weird. Now I can go back to Tokyo with my head held high. I'll stop talking about the sprites and just read, okay? I'm honored we gave you something good to take back with you, Tomatake-san. By the way, could you please stop calling me Lieutenant Colonel? I just can't get used to it. I almost prefer Risa-san at this point. I bet you do, huh? You sure were a huge help. You're the one who secured funding for our research, even when we couldn't produce feasible results. We couldn't have done this without you. It wasn't any trouble. But really, the results you presented today are just brilliant. Not only have you found the cause of the syndrome, you've also provided a clear path towards future research. We're looking forward to hearing more progress when we come again next time. I'm sure the Tokyo office will quit bothering us about cutting your budget with these sorts of results. After all, we nearly lost our budget to the canned coffee we provided to you all, didn't we? Bwahahahaha! Tomitake-kun, make sure you report our progress to Tokyo well enough that they give us enough funding to hold a party. We've been getting nothing but the stick. It's time for the carrot! We'll be happiest if that carrot comes back in the shape of funding. Wahahahaha! These bureaucrats are the same person. Okay, I thought my headphones just disconnected. I don't fucking know. I'm on a roll today with keeping things on track. And with that congenial atmosphere, whatever, our routine audit was over. Irie was surrounded and being questioned by National Institute of Infectious Diseases workers who had joined the auditors. Takano-san, congratulations. I can't really say this out loud, but all the progress I've seen tonight is thanks to your hard work. Thank you, Jiro-san. Jiro-san and I are the only ones here who know that strings were pulled in order to create the Irie Institute. So only Jiro-san can understand what I had to go through. But I've only just risen to the stage for my research. My opponent and I are finally in the same arena, that's all. The critical fight comes after this, and it should be getting even more exciting in the future. By the way, Manager Nakagawa told me to tell you that he wants you to hold a presentation in Tokyo. Even the Alphabet Board wants you to come meet with them. I guess they all want to hear this directly from you. Oh my, isn't having you explain enough? Nah, I don't think that's what they mean. I bet they want to meet such a pretty researcher in person, maybe. My, aren't you being silly, Jiro-san? Oh, excuse me, Major Takano, there's a phone call for you from Tokyo. Thank you for holding. This is Takano. Hey, how are you doing? Oh, Koizumi-sensei! Oh, thank you for taking time to call me. You know, I heard you made a significant breakthrough, Mio-chan. So I had to call to congratulate you. Thank you very much. Yes, thanks to your support, we've been able to accomplish the first step of identifying the microbe that causes Hinamizawa Syndrome. I see. Great job, Mio-chan. I'm sure Takano-kun is very happy in heaven right now. That's a little too early to say. My grandfather was attempting to go beyond merely identifying the cause of the syndrome. His work was about showing the possibility of human thoughts actually being controlled by parasitic agents in our bodies. Only when that is proven will his research be recognized for the great achievement it is. When we're able to explain all thoughts and religions with parasites, the world is going to be tossed into chaos. How interesting. I can just imagine how those religious big shots will react once they find out that their leaders are parasites. How interesting. I would love to see that. I won't die until you show that to me, Mio-chan. Please don't say that. Do look forward to it, though. I'll make sure that this research will spread shock throughout the world. Then the whole world will finally realize how great my grandfather was, and they'll be fighting each other to read over the documents he left behind. Only then can I say that I've repaid my debt to him. I'm a little envious of Takano-kun. I don't want money, you know. I don't mind getting rid of half of what I have. I just wish I had a grandchild who would carry on my legacy. Thank you so much. Those words mean so much to me. By the way, I sent you a present. It's a nice bottle of wine for you to celebrate with. I didn't know your address, so I sent it to the clinic. However, they told me they're having a difficult time importing it, so it may take a little while. But when it comes, please have a party with the people who helped you. Celebratory wine? Well then, I wonder what expensive sort of drink Koizumi-sensei will be sending us. Oh, it's not that kind of expensive. Don't you remember, Mio-chan? Takano-kun used to keep a particular bottle of wine. I remember. That's right. My grandfather kept a certain bottle of wine. I don't know if he bought it himself or if someone gave it to him, but he treasured it, and he always said he'd open it when his research finally gained recognition. I was a child then, so I don't even remember what brand it was, but Mr. Koizumi would know. He went through all the trouble to find the same bottle of wine for this special occasion. For the first time in a while, Takano felt the same sunny warmth she experienced during her time with her grandfather. Thank you very much, Uncle Koizumi. I like it when you call me that, Mio-chan. I don't feel like you're speaking to me when you say Koizumi-sensei. I can't help but smile along with him, because I think Tomitake and Irie were just having a similar exchange. If you like it that way, then I'll be happy to call you that when there's nobody around. I'll be happier if you call me that even in front of people. I'm not very good at voicing the scene. I don't know exactly how old he is, but if he can laugh so energetically, he'll live for many more years to come. I guess the saying about living a long life is true after all. Takano-kun and I both wished you were truly part of our family. We really did. My grandfather had his own family, of course. But because he was so into his research, he became estranged from his wife. They were legally married, but they lived separately. I never met his family when I was a child. I only met them after my grandfather committed suicide. Oh, he committed suicide? Jeez. During his latter years, my grandfather went into psychological despair and began to look at his life with cynicism. His condition became worse over time, and he was shocked at his own dementia. He was afraid of living while his consciousness degraded. So, he jumped off the rooftop of the hospital. Oh. Only my name was in his suicide note. None of his family members' names were in it. That's when all his relatives showed up and took everything my grandfather left behind. They were afraid I was going to get his estate. They had lawyers and all that, so I backed down. I asked for everything in his study in return. Those idiots don't understand the value of my grandfather's research. They were actually happy to strike a deal out of court, and they could also get rid of the piles of papers and jars with human organs in them. They never even showed up once when he was alive. Yet, like hyenas, they appeared after his death. I never let them put their hands all over my grandfather's research. Fortunately, I was able to protect my grandfather's soul from their tainted hands. Okay, I'll get going here. If there's anything you need, be sure to call Uncle Koizumi, okay? I'll do anything for my granddaughter. Thank you, Uncle Koizumi. I'll work even harder. Okay, so that's obviously celebratory wine. Is there anything else in it, though? I do not know. But we're 19 into this batch of 50. This page is almost done. We might be able to do this one. Because I think we have Tomitake's promise. And we definitely have draft of an emergency manual and bottle of wine. So let's save and try a roll of a 1. But will I roll a 1 or will I roll like a 3? Because it wouldn't be a 6. Fuck, it's a 1. So we definitely don't have Tomitake's promise. Okay, well that's a fucking shame. So we only have his fever. Damn. That's a fucking shame. Okay, so what next then? Let's go back to page 1 and see what we've got. So, no. But we're like halfway to it, halfway to that. No, no, no. Nothing on page 1. No, no, because Satoshi hasn't shown up again. No, no. We already looked at this page, or did we? No, no, no. Maybe. I'm gonna write down 20. Depression of a Shinto priest? Yes, okay, cool. Depression... I'm just gonna read. The gathering place inside of the Furude Shrine is in fact the headquarters of the Onigafuchi Guardians. Normally, a shrine should be a calm and quiet place, but there are anti-dam signs everywhere, making it very obvious what this location has become. There are over 30 members of the Guardians here at the moment, and they are having a heated conversation about their plans for the future. Although this meeting place is on the Furude family's property, it's a community facility, so it closes at 9 p.m. Of course, sometimes the discussion gets so heated that it goes on past closing time, but meetings are supposed to end by 9. If a discussion ends early, they usually chit-chat until that time. That's what usually happens. Of course, they mostly talk about the dam even when they chit-chat. They talk about someone's mistreatment at the government office, or someone getting arrested unjustly, or complain that people at the dam construction site are too violent. Since it's idle chatter, the topics are slightly emotional, and because of that, there was a good deal of bad-mouthing the Hojos. And she threw the circulation notes away! Can you believe that? That woman is crazy. Just the other day, she got into a huge argument with Makino-san's grandmother at the trash pickup. You know, the husband is rude too. He's so irrational. Oh, did you see him at the explanatory meeting? That was bad, huh? I can't believe they're still here. I wish they'd just leave. He said something about money. He has absolutely no shame. No. If you talk about being irrational, his wife is the same, or even worse. It must be hereditary. I see their daughter shopping quite often, so I used to say hello to her, but she never replied. Can you believe that? So I got tired of it, and I don't say anything to her anymore. Hey, their son always looks so depressed, doesn't he? By now, the Hojo family has become the enemy of the whole village. Bad-mouthing the Hojo family was the greatest shared topic that anyone could easily contribute to. If he had known how powerful the three families were, especially the Sonozaki family, and if he had known Oryo-san's character, he wouldn't have said the things he did. The Hojo couple are residents here. Though they were never very enthusiastic about the council activities, they should have known what kind of person Oryo-san is. He could have imagined just what would happen to him if he talked to her that way. Yet he let his anger take over and voiced his unpleasant feelings. So most people think the Hojo family brought their isolation upon themselves. If they wanted to negotiate with the government regarding the move, they should have done so privately. Yet he was foolish enough to express himself at a public gathering like that. So not too many sympathized with the Hojo family. Ever since the big fight at the explanatory meeting, the Sonozaki family has looked at the Hojo family as their enemy, and started to go after them. That caused the other pro-dam families to go quiet, fearing they'd be made into scapegoats too, and those who wanted to leave were bitterly forced to give up. Even those people started criticizing the Hojo couple, saying that they could have gotten their compensation to leave if the two hadn't picked that reckless fight. Both the anti-dam and pro-dam people hate the Hojos now, and the family has become even more isolated. Moreover, the Hojos are both very aggressive. They should have stayed quiet at least until things settled down, but they didn't. That alienated the handful of people who took pity on them as well, so now nobody even says anything to them. All of that was immediately obvious by listening to the foul talk here and there at the gathering place. Rika always helps out by putting the teacups away, so I'm sure she hears what they say as well. One of the Hojo family members they're bad-mouthing is Rika's friend, Satoko-chan. It hurts to think about what Rika feels while hearing that. As priest of the Furude Shrine, should I let this continue? Oyashiro-sama is a god who makes peace between enemies. When the humans and demons fought, Oyashiro-sama descended from heaven and mediated between both sides. As the caretaker of the shrine, I must do something before it goes too far. I'm sitting next to Oreo-san, who is spitefully disparaging the Hojo family. So that ass was talking shit to me! Who the hell cares? He'll be cursed by Oyashiro-sama, that's for sure! The elderly people cheer her on as they listen to her speak. If I barge in now, I have a feeling it won't be a peaceful conversation. But I have to make up my mind. As the priest of the Furude Shrine. Also for the sake of Rika's friend, Satoko-chan. Oreo-san? Don't you think you've said enough by now? Huh? The hell are you trying to tell me? Well, I'm sure Hojo-san really didn't mean what he said. Isn't it a bit much for this kind of treatment to go on for so long? Shut up! You heard what he said, didn't you? Weren't you pissed? He pissed me off! Shit! Shit! Oreo-san is the head of the Sonozaki family. I almost said the Hojo family. That'd be weird. The heir to the demons. She never forgives anyone who stands against her. So there's no way she would even listen to what I'm trying to say. Oreo-san and the others became furious and refused to listen to me. I also mentioned that the dam construction plan will be cancelled soon, so they should calm down already. I said that because the staff at the Irie clinic told me that the government is putting some kind of pressure on the Ministry of Construction. But thinking that I'm being an opportunist, soon criticism of me began to circulate the room. After that, I realized that I've become branded as a fence-sitter. If the demons are willing to listen, then there's a chance to make peace. But how can I make peace with people who refuse to listen? I destroyed their mood, so I just have to give up and shut my mouth. Then I felt a little hand on my back. Rika, it's getting late. Why don't you go home? No matter how hard we try, we can't reach them. Rika looked into the distance while she spoke. Is she speaking in Looper voice? Probably. The evil of this corrupted village is probably beyond the means of those of us living in that muck. But I won't lose hope. Surely, someone who will destroy the stagnation will arrive. Very soon, I know. Her eyes shone as if seeing a future that only the maiden of the Furude Shrine could see. Okay, so if father is opportunist wasn't before, then it is now. I'm just gonna write Furude opportunist. But was there anything else that could have been? Which one did I even just do? Depression of a Shinto priest, right? So, no, no, no. Yeah, him being marked as an opportunist. So, that was definitely just there. Without a fucking doubt. Aunt hasn't died. No, no, no. Yeah, no. Nothing about the bat. Koizumi hasn't shown up again because he's not dead yet. Nothing about a medicine. Rika hasn't had a fever. Tomatake didn't show up. Nothing about Satoshi. Rena hasn't shown up at all. Rena hasn't shown up at all. Rena hasn't shown up at all. No. Also no. Nothing about the red capsule. Oh boy. Motherfucker. Can we do this one? Yeah, Mother's suspicion probably happened, right? We have to be able to do that one, right? That's the only one that makes sense. So, 21 the third sacrifice? No! Ah, fuck! I was about to say, yeah, but no. So, we don't have Rika's mom's suspicion just yet. God damn it. Alright, let's go back through and make absolute sure. So, it would have to be something relating to the Furudes or the Sonozakis, unless we have had Irie's decision at this point. Which we apparently fucking have. Okay. Sure. Maybe that was in a routine inspection or whatever. Alright, Irie's decision. I forget what this one was even called. I'll write it afterward. Plans for Satoko-chan's dissection are moving right along. I don't want Satoshi-kun to be sad. I feel pity for Satoko-chan in her harsh circumstances. I'm still struggling with how much I have to sacrifice for the sake of research.
Irie?
Huh? Ah, sorry. What is it, Rika-chan?
One of my friends has been in the clinic for a long time. Do you think she has Hinamizawa Syndrome?
Who told you that?
No one. I just thought about it. So what do you think, Irie? Does Satoko have Hinamizawa Syndrome?
Rika-chan is on our side. There's nothing I have to hide from her. Actually, I probably shouldn't keep anything from her. Yes. The problems with her parents and then their sudden deaths. It was all too much for her to bear. Maybe that was what triggered it.
What did the test results say?
L5. She seems perfectly fine on the surface, but her emotions are extremely unstable. Since the other day, she's even been refusing to meet with Satoshi-kun. Oh. Would that mean Satoshi can't go to the clinic?
Satoshi told me. He's worried that it's taking a very long time for Satoko to get better. Irie? What will happen to Satoko?
Satoko-chan is Rika-chan's best friend. How can I tell her that we're planning to dissect Satoko-chan? However, even if I don't say anything, she already knows that Satoko-chan's situation is extremely poor.
Didn't you find out a lot of things when you examined me?
Sure, of course. We're even testing medicine, which might be able to control the symptoms.
Can't you give that medicine to Satoko?
I thought about it, but it's too dangerous. We're still in the trial stages and trying to gather more data. We can't use it on someone who's in a delicate situation like Satoko-chan.
Then, if you won't try that medicine, what will happen to Satoko?
She spoke as if aware of our plans for Satoko-chan. No, she must actually know. I've told her about most of my research. She's more mature than she looks, so it'd be easy for her to figure it out.
If there's even a 1% chance of Satoko getting better, then I think we should take that chance.
It's extremely risky. Worst case, she could immediately display terminal symptoms and hallucinate. Or potentially lose her consciousness and spend the rest of her life just staring blankly at a wall. Either one would be too cruel a fate for her.
So are you saying it's better to have her die in her sleep? Irie? Just like Takano says, there are no guarantees in medicine.
She's probably doing her looper voice. I can't tell sometimes, you know? But if we don't do anything, Satoko will die for sure. I think it's clear what we should do. That's true. You're right. But I know too well. C103, the medicine that's being tested, may not even be something that can be used. It may not even have a 1% chance of success. Worse, I can't even imagine what kind of tragic end she'd meet if her body rejects the medicine. That's why I'm tempted to believe it would be far more merciful to feed her favorite food, let her gently fall asleep, and after that, dissect her while she dreams. I don't want to admit it, but Takano-san is right. I'm being indecisive and showing a lack of resolve. How effective could the medicine made by someone like that really be? So, because it was medicine I created myself, I couldn't even believe there might be a 0.1% chance of success. I think we can believe in it. She spoke as if she read my mind. Surprised, I raised my head up to look at her, and found her giving me a reassuring look I never would have imagined someone her age capable of. People's lives depend on your job. It's almost absurd that a human being can control life and death like that. I can't even imagine the pressure. Her voice hasn't changed, but I feel like Rika-chan is admonishing me. Almost as if she knows what it's like to be responsible for human lives.
Guilt and regret are a part of that. And that's why you can't use the medicine on Satoko. Isn't that right?
Takano-san said the same thing when she criticized me earlier. I'm being criticized again.
But that's why I can trust you with Satoko. What? Human lives are precious. You understand that very well, and that's why you do what you do. Without knowing that, how could you heal people? Do you think I trust medicine created by Takano? Who thinks humans are just her guinea pigs?
I shouldn't have laughed, but I couldn't help it. I felt like I should laugh.
If both you and Takano each produce different medicine, I think yours would be the one to cure her. Because your medicine came from your heart. Your will to heal people is what cures them. You're absolutely right. I can't believe you're admonishing me about medicine. I let you use my body for Satoko. Everything you took out from me is for her. If you created that medicine with the knowledge of how precious human lives are, then of course it'll work on Satoko.
Do Shrine Maidens take confessions? If they do, she's doing a great job being a Shrine Maiden at this age.
This will be a gamble. And the question is whether Satoko-chan will accept it. We don't need to tell her. Learning of the Hinamizawa Syndrome will only dredge up the deep scar on her heart again.
True. What did she mean by those words? When I realized it later, I was surprised by how thoughtful and perceptive she was.
Let's stop plans for the dissection. We're going to give Satoko Hojo C103. I'll do my best to increase the chance by even 1%. Don't worry, Irie. It'll work. You shouldn't be so optimistic. I know it'll work. It's already decided. That's a very reassuring prophecy from the Frude Shrine Maiden. Go for it. Yay!
Switch back to her regular fucking voice. Okay. So yeah, that was Satoko's dissection plans getting canceled. Easy. Maybe something else. Just want to make sure. It wasn't the completion of a medicine. C103 dose experiment. Okay, C103 dose experiment. Alright, so what else is there? Alright, discontinuation of dissection. So we can do that. I'm gonna write discon dissect. That works. We haven't had the third year. We haven't had any of that. Results of the research on C103. That would be a different thing, right? Oh, distrust of the mother of a queen. That would be Rika's mother's suspicion, right? So this one would have that. So we need to do that before we can do the third sacrifice. Okay. We might have Satoshi not being allowed to visit, right? Satoshi no visit. Question mark. Is there anything else? No execution, no bat, no Koizumi. Medicine C117 is different. No Rika fever. Tomatake didn't show up. Satoshi didn't show up. Still no Rena. Everything from here on, like, we need to continue with Satoshi stuff and Rena. But a red capsule would unlock Rena, which is this. So we're getting there. So we can definitely do H170 now. But I'm gonna save just in case. So we'll be going on to number 22. This might be the last one I do this episode. That is not how you write 22. I don't remember if I actually saved, but there, I did now. So, what's it called? H170, just H170. Easy. Watch it not work. Okay. Looks like it's just a journal. C103's implementation on Satoko is going well so far. It wouldn't make any difference to me if the experiment failed. However, Irie's extraordinary focus and attention to the experiment has avoided Satoko Hojo hallucinating or turning into a vegetable during the experiment. And surprisingly, we see prospects of her returning to normal life despite reaching L5. C103 still has many issues, but this experiment proved that even a person who has reached L5 can be cured. I didn't believe in it at first, but I guess I have to acknowledge Irie's hard work. Only Irie could have done this. He was tormented by naive humanism and didn't want to make mistakes, and that is why he felt obligated to cure Satoko Hojo. The reason why I dislike Irie isn't because of his achievements or abilities, but because of that weakness. But this time, I had to praise him for it. I saw your report. I must tip my hat to you. No, I only did my job as a researcher. If that means fulfilling my duty as a doctor as well, then nothing could please me more. It's hardly an exaggeration to say that Satoko is now our most valuable specimen. After all, she's the first human to reach L5 and live. That's true. We'll let her go back to her life and keep our eyes on her. I'm going to tell her to come here every Sunday for a checkup. But how are you going to explain to her that she has to give herself a C103 shot 3 times a day, and also that she has to come here every Sunday? She has no subjective symptoms. I'm still trying to come up with a good excuse. I think I'll tell her that I want her to help me with my research. She has to give herself shots daily, and to come here every Sunday for a checkup. I'll pay her for helping me, or something like that. I guess Irie is determined to cure Satoko Hojo no matter what. He seems determined to keep her off the dissection table. He and I are in different positions, but I don't have any complaints about his naive ideals so long as they translate directly into passion for our research. If his plans can be put into effect and produce a different result than the dissection would, then they'll still be useful to the overall understanding of the Hinamizawa Syndrome. I have nothing against Satoko Hojo. It's only that I see her as a research specimen. If she can be useful in that capacity without being dissected, that's perfectly fine with me. We have to get permission from her guardian to give her shots 3 times a day. After her parents died, her aunt and uncle have been taking care of her, right? Maybe I'll go talk to them. I hope they agree to her involvement in such suspicious research. Oh, don't worry. I'm sure they'll be happy to, once they realize they'll receive 100,000 to 200,000 yen every month for it. Do we have enough money? Sure, as long as we can produce documents that'll convince Jiro-san. Okay, then I'll work on that. Also, we'll need to take action to prevent stressing Satoko-chan. We don't want her to return to L5. I hear her aunt and uncle are very mercenary. Perhaps we can handle them with cash. I plan to provide my help with their guidance, too. I've heard Satoko-chan isn't getting along with her aunt and uncle. I never thought that'd affect us in any way. But now, Irie has to deal with them. Maybe he's developed some kind of sense of responsibility or duty as her guardian. Ah, yeah. I don't really care. The more responsible he feels, the more progress our research makes. That'll be a plus for me. By the way, I saw the report on H170. Oh, compared to your success, it's nothing. But I guess it was some kind of accomplishment. It's honestly ironic. The same research center that's produced the remedy to save her from derangement has developed a dangerous drug that could instantly induce it. Irie wasn't involved in the H170 research. That was my work. In fact, even if I asked him, he wouldn't have agreed to be involved. This dangerous reagent was developed during the process of uncovering the mechanisms behind how the pathogens controlling Satoko Hojo's brain could induce derangement or paranoia in their host. To put it bluntly,
Injecting H170 into a patient with Hinamizawa Syndrome forced them to express terminal symptoms. It threw the brain into a simulated state of agitation, intentionally forcing the pathogen to grow unstable. If we continue researching this, it will be possible to drive anyone with Hinamizawa Syndrome violently insane at any time. Studying the mechanism behind that will help to solve the syndrome's mysteries. So this study on H170 will be extremely important to future research. Also, this medicine has military applications as the client requested. At this point, there's absolutely no use for it. But once our research progresses a bit further, this H170 could be spread at the right moment to cause a certain type of reaction. Compared to a killer virus, it seems like a useless. How the fuck did I fuck that up twice? Because pathogen? Whatever. Like a useless pathogen. But there's no way to detect it in a dead body, and it makes it look as though the person just went insane spontaneously. So it must have some useful applications. The Marco Polo Bridge incident threatened to end research on Hinamizawa Syndrome before. A historically important incident like that couldn't have been created by a killer virus. But it's possible with Hinamizawa Syndrome. The elders of the Alphabet Project, the sponsor for our research, can think whatever they want about that. I don't care how they use what I've learned. My purpose is to solve the mysteries of Hinamizawa Syndrome and to make people realize how important this research is. Also, to make people acknowledge my grandfather's accomplishments and achievements. Any military applications were just byproducts of the process that I didn't care about. The clients will appreciate your accomplishment. Maybe our budget will increase for next term. Passion alone can't keep research going. We need money. We must thank the sponsor for giving us so much funding. For this much money to come from public expenses. Maybe Japan is richer than I thought. They're public expenses, but they're expenses that can't be made public. Irie has no idea what I had to go through to get that money. Anyway, our research is going extremely well. We don't know what we'll find out about Hinamizawa Syndrome, but I'm sure every mystery will eventually be solved. I can hardly wait. What the syndrome indicates is that humans are simply empty containers, and what we believe to be our will is simply the actions of parasites that live in our brains. If that mystery was solved, it would have a greater impact than anything else in history. That is a truth which nobody wants to believe. This is an achievement my grandfather predicted back during his time. I know now. I know the reason why my grandfather was so fascinated by his work. That's a tough one. What would this one be? So we're 22 in. Like I said, that's gonna be the last fragment I do, because it's hot as fuck. It's late August, but I think this is the hottest it's gotten all year. Usually it peaks in July. It's fucking 90 today, which sucks shit, but whatever. So we definitely don't, that was definitely not that. Definitely not Rika's mother. There's a hair on my fingers, get off. Results of the research. What the? It says H107. Is that the same? That wouldn't be, right? There's no fucking way. Because that says C117. So I don't think they'd make a typo that big, right? What would that one have been then? Is that one just a fucking dead end? That wouldn't be right. That wouldn't make any sense. Plus, I think I'm stuck again. I have no idea where I'll have to go next. It's maybe results of research on C103, yada yada. But I doubt it. Results on C103/H107, question mark. The only other thing I can think of is this. This has gotta be the next thing I do, right? An accident at the Shirakawa Park.
There's no fucking way it's not. Like, this is the only other thing that makes sense, but regardless, we'll figure that out next episode. So we only did 4 more fragments, but that's because I had a pretty long Sotsu discussion, and next episode we'll have another one, because episode 10 airs on Thursday, this goes up Wednesday, right? No, today is Wednesday, this goes up Thursday, so same day episode 10 airs. But, yeah, regardless, that's gonna be it for this episode, guys. Sorry, sir, there's no Your Turn to Die today either, because, you know, too hot to record and I'm doing this first, so, yeah. That's gonna be it for this episode. If you liked it, then be sure to press the like button, and if you didn't like it, then fuck you too. Remember to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all my videos and stuff. And as always, my name is Godzi, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye!